So I left off talking on my podcast, which isn't actually broadcast at all, about um, whether or not, even if I did obey all the laws of the Old and New Testament, um, would things still go well for me in that case? I mean, would things be better and would I be more happy? Um, Happier. Um, See, the thing is, in order to obey the Bible, you have to go through suffering, you have to be violent, and you have to be authoritarian, um, and you have to be primitivistic. Um, Primitivism, authoritarianism, um, and violence are all really popular. Um, so it's not as if that's anything new. And as for the suffering, well, I think I need to break that down a little bit more. Um, I could group violence and authoritarianism under the same category because, I mean, really that's the only way that authoritarianism gets its power is through coercion. So, the suffering part. On my podcast, I was saying in order to obey the Bible, you have to be really primitivistic. You have to only eat the foods that were proved by God, and or if you don't have that, foods that the Israelites were eating at the time of Christ. Um, and there's this whole idea that if you eat natural foods, they've got all the vitamins and they're all balancing each other out, and everything is perfectly what you need in order to survive, and you don't need any modern medicine or any modern treatment. Yes, Luke was a doctor, but that means we're limited by what techniques he was using at the time of Christ. And you can only do what the Bible says is okay in terms of or technologies that were used at the time of the Bible. This is the slowest game. You can't move unless it's been 17 frames. And so I've kind of given up trying to do frame perfect on this. extremely repetitive. I do want to get it kind of close. I think I'm going to stick with 6% instead of 15% for playing it back. I finally abandoned my technique of advancing at 17 frames at a time because it was just taking way too long. I was having to calculate it every time. It was so boring. Okay, so good. I actually did make it to the end and everything worked out. So suffering. Back to primitivism. So yeah, that doesn't appeal to me. So, what kind of suffering in that primitivistic fashion, what would that involve? It would mean eating foods that the Jewish people ate. And I was trying to say earlier that, like, there's this notion that all natural foods, they're incorruptible. Okay. I'm not going to be able to get past it. Yeah, you made it. So yeah, there's this myth that natural foods give you like everything you need, and you don't need any medicine, and you get everything that you need from fruits because God provided the fruits in the Garden of the Eden, and the vegetables and the stuff from the foods that He put on the earth, and you don't actually need any medicine. All you got to do is eat a certain amount of thingy, and you'll be perfectly healthy. And you won't need any assistance from doctors because all the vitamins balance out and all the foods balance each other out, and you'll never actually need any kind of medication. Because God made you and He knows exactly what kind of vitamins you need, so He filled the Garden of Eden with the foods that humans need in order to survive. And so you've got this resistance to any kind of medicine, and this real pushing of natural foods, and especially when you're talking about like the diet of the Israelites or the Hebrews, before they even came to Jerusalem. It's like you want to be like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? You don't want to eat that pagan food, those GMOs. I guess I'll just wait here for this barrel to arrive. Oops. Yeah, that didn't work out. Again? He's pointing at it like I'm calling you out, Barrel. So what is the problem with that? Well, first of all, there's the issue of, do you actually get enough vitamins from foods that you eat, like on their own, with the kind of vitamins that you're getting from foods actually be enough? And would also extend to, what about the foods that the Israelites didn't eat? Would those be okay to eat, or would these things be, you can compare the Israelite diet versus all the other diets and say, alright, well, what diet is, out of all the diets in the world, is the most healthy? Like, who are the most healthy people in the world? Are they the people that are following the biblical diet? Or is it just coincidental? And I don't mean someone who's Christian that happens to have a diet. I can't go up because that beam is in the way. I'm talking about the actual diet as sanctioned by the Bible. I think we could have done that a little better. Oops. Why did he not jump when I said jump? So actually, let's find that out. No peer-reviewed scientific journal articles about the diet. How dare they stop him from doing what Christianity tells you to do? What is kashrut? Okay, so halakha, halakha. Huh. How has there not been any kind of an analysis of whether or not it's healthy or not, like a healthy diet? All I want to know is the diet healthy or not, or is it inherently more healthy than other stuff? Because that's what, like, well, you know what? I could probably just is. No, that's not what I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to find out if people are inherently healthier, not if they're. What does that mean? On a scale of not trained to well trained. Like, are their health rates better in Israel? Yes, that's what I'm trying to find out. Not their spending or anything. I'm trying to see how they compare to the rest of the world. Because if the Christian hypothesis is right, they should be on top of everything. No, not spending. I don't care about spending. I'm looking at actual healthiness. Health status. Ha! Lol, Japan. So, how is this even possible? Is this just because the Israelites have sinned and gotten away from the Bible? No, this can't be. It should be number one. I mean, are all the Sharia law proponents skewing this, or the seculars skewing this? Okay, so they've got a bad rate with cancer, cardiovascular diseases. Okay, so it's a false. Yeah, you haven't shown it with any kind of any signs backing it up. Oh, he's dead? How is that possible? He should be living forever. Wow, he only lived to be like 70. So no, it has not been substantiated by any kind of a study. Well, not really. You know, even in the countries where you're supposed to have the strongest adherence to the diet, they're not healthy. They're not the healthiest. So no, it's not true that, you know, the diet that God set before the Hebrews was the best diet in the world. So you're going to be suffering, okay? You know, you've got a mixed diet or maybe following the food pyramid, but you're not the most healthy people. You know, and that's not even considering that you're supposed to be suffering because you're giving away so much of your food and stuff to the poor, because the more that you give away, the better a person you are. Or the more you're showing your love for others. I am not staying up later than 9 o'clock. I I'm not going to do it. And again, in regards to clothes, well, you know what? I've worn woolen clothes before, and I know what burlap feels like, and you're supposed to be wearing sackcloth a lot. Like, as much as you possibly can. And you're supposed to turn down modern medicine, which, I mean, can you really even argue that? Because now you're talking about like, oh no, yeah, it's just living in our modern world and our cell phones are polluting our brains and radio waves and microwaves and it's all these modern touches and we've gotten away from God's original plan, you know, to keep us penned into the Garden of Eden, and walking with God daily and jumped up. Okay. I'm surprised I made that. Thought for sure it'd hit my head on the beam. Jump, man. That's a bad idea. I'll just stay here, wait for the beam to pass. Move. Okay. So you're doomed to wearing uncomfortable clothes, living in uncomfortable climates because you're supposed to. Actually, I should write that down too. And we all know how great third world countries are. You know, and on top of it, you're supposed to be fasting, so you don't even get to eat the food most of the time. And you're supposed to be wearing sackcloth and ashes. Although, I mean, I guess according to the New Testament, you're supposed to not let it show. So I guess that means wearing sackcloth underneath your clothes. And it looks like I'm going to be waiting again. The point is, you're just supposed to be uncomfortable all the time, as much as you possibly can. Oh, didn't expect that. Didn't expect that barrel to disappear. Might be able to get there before the beam does. I can temporarily speed it up because I'm kind of button bound to it. And you're supposed to be a farmer, because there's so many verses about farming, and that's pretty much the only legitimate career that's depicted in the Bible. I'm gonna be too busy missionarying. Or at the very least, you can only have the occupations that the apostles had. Oh, come on. I've got to wait for both of these. Okay, fine. Let's stay here until you've thrown the second one. Why is she sitting on top of the words marked closed caption? Oh, I've got to wait for 3 barrels to fall. I shouldn't have done that. That was dumb. What? come on. This game takes forever to test. I don't think I can make it up there before that barrel. No, gotta just stay here. I only get 1 point for jumping over those. It's not even doubled or anything. I don't even get a combo for jumping over 3 in a row. No. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll just wait until the barrel passes and then I'll flick the switch because I don't want to have to wait for it to go past me. Much better. I don't have to wait for it to swing all the way right and then back. Alright, that's all I'm passing tonight. No. Didn't have it set to discard. So there's an hour down the drain.